coding buds. So basically today's lead code problem 3190, which is find minimum operations to make all elements divisible by 3, and it is an easy level problem. And as the problem statement is given as, you are given an integer array nums. In one operation you can add or subtract 1 from any element of nums. Return the minimum number of operations to make all the element of nums divisible by 3. So basically in the given problem we have an array nums, and we have to find the minimum operations. We have to check and return those minimum operations through which we can make the item or elements as 3, which can be divisible by 3. Okay, like for example here we have nums as 1 2 3 4. So if we are like traversing inside this array, we are going to meet with our first element, which is like 1, and we know very well like 1 is not going to be like divisible by 3. So we have like two things: either we have to like increment it by 1 or like decrement it by 1. Okay, so if we are like making increment of by 1, then it will become 2, which is also not divisible. But if we are like making as -1, then 0, which is like, we can say that somewhere it is like divisible. Okay, so as we know very well about 0 is like divisible by all numbers. Okay, so here we have to return 1 operations. Okay, talking about 2, so for 2 either we can like increment it or like decrement it. So if we are like making increment by 1, then it becomes 3, and it will be like divisible. Okay, then talking about this 3, it is already divisible by itself, so we don't have to do these things. Talking about 4, so here we have to decrement it by 1 so that it is divisible. Okay, so here we got 3 total we can say that operations to which we make all the elements divisible by 3. Like here for the first case, as it is written here, you have to subtract 1 from 1, so it will become 0. And for second, add 1 to 2, that means once we have like add 1 to 2, it will become like 3, and it is divisible by 3 itself. Okay, then again subtract 1 from 4, that will again become 3. So here there are 3 operations. Okay, so similarly if I'm talking about the second example here, so here we can say 3 6 9. Talking about 3 is already divisible by itself, so we don't have to follow any operations. Talking about 6 is also divisible, 9 is also divisible, so here we don't need any operations. Okay, like adding 1 or like adding by 1 or like subtracting by 1, we don't have to perform anything inside this item inside the array. So what we have to do here, let's try to understand this problem. I'm going to explain here. So here we need to return the total number of operation needs to make all the elements divisible by 3. Okay, so here what we will do, here first of all we need to traverse it, and then after that we have to check for each element that whether the particular element is like divisible by 3 or not. Okay, so here I'm going to traverse. So for int x, let's say I'm traversing inside my nums array. Inside that, first of all we have to check it. Okay, so for checking here I'm saying that we have to take the reminder also. Okay, let's say I'm saying that int reminder is equal to x modulus 3. Okay, that means whether the given number is like divisible by 3 or not. Okay, so let's say while traversing inside the array, here is my first element, which is like 1. If I'm considering my first example here, so 1 is going to be like divisible by 3. So here we know very well it is not going to be divisible by 3. So what we'll do here, we are going to make a condition. Like here we can say that if reminder is equal to 1, then we know very well we have to either increment the number or decrement the number so that it will become divisible by 3. Okay, so here what we will do, here we can do, let's say first of all we have to also define the operation variable. Okay, so that we can count the total minimum operations. Okay, so here I'm declaring the operations variable and initializing with 0. So here we have to simply count that here we requirement at least one operations. It may be like either increment or like decrement, so that it will be like divisible by 3. So here we can simply say that operation plus equal to 1. That means here we require one operations. Okay, and similarly here we have to say else if we can set if our reminder is like 2, like in that case. Okay, our second element is like 2. So in that case also we have two things, either we have to like increment the number by 1 or like decrement the number. But as we can say here we have to increment it by 1 so that it will become 3, and 3 is like divisible by itself. Okay, and 3 can be like divisible. Okay, so here we can again say that operation plus equal to, here again we have to perform at least one operation so that it is going to be like divisible by 3. Once we are like done these things, then talking about 3, so 3 is like 3 can be like divisible. Now talking about 4, so here again if I'm talking about 4, so while dividing 4 by 3, we are actually getting the remainder as 1. So for 1 again we have to perform again we have to add the operation by 1. Okay, so this is the only two conditions by which we can perform any type of problem here. Okay, finally we have to return our total number of operations to check what is the minimum operations to make all the elements divisible by 3. Let's try to compile and run. So yeah, its compilation is completed and it executes well. So let's try to submit it. So yeah, it's submitted. So yeah, that's all for today. Thanks for watching.